What's up guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to do a Lutz. Okay, so when doing the Lutz the first time, I really like to use the circle and the blue line. Alright, so we're going to do our crossovers in a clockwise direction, and that's if you're an anti-clockwise rotator. And we're going to come around and do a 2-foot glide going down towards the blue line. As you're doing that 2-foot glide, we're going to change our arms from the regular crossover position. We're going to bring the right hand down and the left arm down by the sides, and then bring that left arm back out in front and the right arm up behind. And then as you get to the blue line, we want to make sure your foot's nice and close in, and we're going to reach and we're going to stretch back across the blue line, just going along the blue line and going back towards the barrier. And then from there, you're going to draw your feet in together and make sure your toes are turned in, so they come right the way in together. We're in a little bit of a pigeon toe. So we stretch back across the line and draw it in together into your toes so that both turned in together. Alright, and this is really going to help us get that outside edge on the Lutz. So as you draw it in, you make sure you keep pressing towards your little toe, towards your little toe, towards your little toe, and that's really going to help you get a nice outside edge. So before we start to rotate this, the first thing I'd do is start off with a jump straight up and down, kind of the same as what we did on flip jump. Now the difference between a flip and a Lutz is flip you take off from an inside edge, and a Lutz we take off from the outside edge. So this is really important to get that outside edge on the Lutz. So once you've practiced that jump straight up and down a few times, you want to start trying to get a little bit of rotation on it. As you go for the rotation, we've got to be really careful that we're not trying to swing it and not trying to rotate it around with the shoulders too much. So again, we're going to keep exactly the same shape as what we did in the jump straight up and down. We do that nice stretch back, we draw them toes together. Now this is the part that is really important. As you go to jump, you got to make sure you're really trying to keep that left arm in front, and the left arm just draws in. We don't want to let it lift up and swing up behind too much. It's going to draw in a little bit more, and there's the knee that we want to lift into a H position, but as you lift them, we want to think of dragging it off the little toe. So we're going to lift from the little toe and push it up and out. So it stays over that outside edge. If we're pushing it on that little toe, it's going to stay on that outside edge as we draw it up, and then we can draw into that rotation nice and easy. And again, on a single, we don't need pulling too hard. You should just kind of pop and lightly rotate. So while we're in the air, we want to make sure we're in a little bit of a H position. We're drawing up, we've lifted off that little toe, and we're just pretty much going to hold that hoop with the arms, and then we're going to keep that knee up, and then as you get to that landing, that's where we're going to kind of pull up a little bit more in the knee, so it's ready for that kick out. Making sure as we land, we're keeping the weight over that right hip, and making sure we're keeping that body nice and tall with the leg nicely extended, so we get a really nice strong landing. And voila, there we have it. Like I said, there are many other ways to do a Lutz, and hopefully I will be covering them in the future. But if you thought this video was helpful at all, it'd be great if you give it a thumbs up. I'll also leave the subscribe button around about here and a link to the last video in the top corner. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you next week. Bye!